Welcome to this screencast presentation on how to access the FBA Data Tool using behaviordoctor.org and how to input your student behavior data into the tool in order to generate a data report that analyzes the behavior and helps determine possible interventions. To begin, you're going to need to type in behaviordoctor.org into your URL browser. This will bring you to the Behavior Doctor website. You will see where it says Discover Courses with an arrow pointing down. If you scroll down, you will see Free Courses. The course you're going to utilize is the free FBA download. You'll need to click the blue oval icon that says Full Course. Now, you're not really going to take any kind of class or course, but you will see that the Behavior Doctor provides tutorial resources for you to use as reference tools as you're learning to navigate the FBA Data Tool. I am already enrolled, but you may need to enroll by putting in your email address with a password in order to continue to access. But if I just continue to scroll down here, you will see that available to you is a 32-minute video, which is very informative. The Behavior Doctor takes you through each step of the tool and gives you great instructions. She also provides you a PowerPoint that you can download to help as a resource as well. So to continue, we're going to click on Download the free tool. Click the blue preview box. Again, you will have access to the video, the PowerPoint, and here we're going to click on the FY22 FBA Data Tool to download the tool. Now, as it is downloading, you will see that the FBA Data Tool is actually a spreadsheet, and it pops up like this. So you're going to want to click Enable Editing. Ultimately, because it's a spreadsheet, it's designed to walk you through each step of the process. Everything is color-coded by tabs, but you also have access to the different sections of the tool down here at the bottom as you would any spreadsheet that has multiple tabs. First, you're going to do step 1. You're going to click on the green box for demographics. In this box, you're going to type in the first and last name of your student. I'm going to just use my name, their grade, the school name, gender, the teacher's name. Sometimes this may be different from the person who is collecting the data, which is here. If you have a general ed teacher that they are enrolled under, you can put their name here. And then if the special education teacher is the one taking the data, you can put her name here. Otherwise, these two names may be the same. The tool is going to prompt you with the next to click on the next green tab because we're still putting in basic information about the student. Now, this is where we're going to indicate our start day time and end time for our school day, because usually when you're collecting data, you're going to collect data throughout the entire day. You're going to enter the date that you will begin collecting data. This is going to allow the tool to then generate a calendar of 10 school days for you to then collect data from. And this is for the 21-22 school year, and it gives you an example here that shows you to put in the full day. The step prompts you to do what's next, which is where you're going to choose your criteria. Here, this is where you're going to customize your tool to meet your needs based on the individual student. The tool provides criteria for you that you can keep or delete and change. The first column is titled Trigger Setting, and it is blue. This should reflect the different areas of the school day where behavior may occur. I like to put in the student's school schedule. You can edit by just clicking in the box, deleting what's there, or backspacing what's there. Usually I say breakfast, if you do some type of morning activity, morning work. If the next thing you do in your day is you go to the restroom. Now this is where I'm going to instruct you that you may go to the restroom multiple times throughout the day. You do not have to put each time you go to the restroom in this schedule. Every time the student goes to the restroom, if a behavior occurs, you will use this corresponding letter to represent that area that the event has happened in. Okay, so I'm just going to leave these in here for the rest just to save time. The next box is color-coded green. It's titled Trigger Antecedents. Now this is where you're going to enter events that appear to occur prior to the behavior. So if the time that the behavior occurs is a transition time where you've asked students to line up, or perhaps a student said he or she wanted to do something and they were denied access to a desirable event or activity, or if the teacher is giving whole group instruction, or perhaps a student has been introduced to a new task, which can sometimes bring about behaviors because students become intimidated with a skill that they are unsure of. All of these are great options, but what you're going to look at is what do you think is happening right before the behaviors occur. The next portion is target behavior. This area limits you to 3 targeted behaviors. If you start to look at too many behaviors at one time, the data can get real miscued and jumbled up. And so you're going to just want to target 3 or less behaviors. Sometimes I can use the word tantrum to encompass a lot of different behaviors. Maybe the child is running away. Whatever it is that the student is exhibiting as an inappropriate behavior that you are trying to collect data on, that's what you're going to put here. Okay. The purple column is titled Impact Consequences. This is where you can list any positive interventions or consequences that you are using when the behavior occurs. And lastly, the yellow column is the student reaction. This is not editable. This is set because whatever you're doing here to try to extinguish the consequence is going to either stop the behavior will continue, or the behavior could intensify depending on what is given here. This could be a good area too for you to list any kind of PBIS or anything that you're doing to intervene. Okay, and so from here we're going to go to the paper form. The tool has now generated a printable and savable form for you to use to collect your data each day. You should print at least 10 of these forms, 1 for each day that you're going to collect data, but you may want to do more for mess-ups and things like that. This form is what will travel with the student all day long for data to be collected. So for example, let's say that little Lainey came in on a Monday morning and she was not happy. She started throwing a tantrum right at the beginning of school. What set her off was at breakfast time. She didn't like what they were having for breakfast. She was denied access to her favorite breakfast. So she decided she was going to throw a tantrum. And so as you see, these letters here are corresponding with the columns that they represent here. The trigger was breakfast. The direct trigger or antecedent was denying access. The target behavior that was presented was a tantrum. And so what did we do to try to intervene with that? Well, we gave her a choice of activity. Instead of eating breakfast, maybe you would like to come and work with these manipulatives. And then what reaction did that gain from the student? Did it stop the tantrum? Did the tantrum continue, or did it intensify? Let's just say for little Lainey that it stopped the behavior. And so you can say her behavior lasted approximately 10 minutes. It started at 7:30. By 7:40, this intervention was able to move on. And so what this is going to do is each day you will have the data to enter in. Okay? And so you go to your table of contents, and the tool has now generated your 10-day window for when you're going to collect data. And so what will happen is you will use your paper forms to collect your data each and every day, and then you will, at the end of the data collection period, come back, click on the day that that data was taken. This is where you will enter in what you just saw there, where I was acting like that's what I was writing on the form. And so her trigger was A, her antecedent was B, the behavior was A, she was given a choice, which was A, and the behavior stop, which is A. And so when you finish putting in all the data that occurred for that day, whether it's one event or 10 events or 20 events, you can then return back to the calendar. You see a check mark there where data has been entered, and you can continue to click on each day to enter the data. Once you are done entering all of your data, you're going to generate your report. And so what the Behavior Doctors tool does is it then puts all of your demographic information in there, and it then turns graphs all of your data for you to be able to print this form in order to better understand the data and the behavior. It's a beautiful, colorful, very easy to read report that's analyzing your data. It will help you choose your interventions based on what you find, whether it's a particular time of day that behaviors are occurring more often, which we can show you here, whether it's a particular setting, such as do they have a tantrum every time they eat breakfast or every time they go to PE. It also can show you what is triggering the behavior so that maybe those can be removed as much as possible. Also, it can show you what interventions or consequences are working best or not working at all. Okay? And so this report can be saved and printed for sharing with your administrators or even with parents at an MTSS meeting or an IEP meeting. I hope this screencast will be useful to you as you learn to navigate this process for collecting and analyzing behavior data.